Good morning, everyone. This is Lindsey Huddleston back in the building. Another SBS Monday Motivation. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope that your weekend plans weren't overly determined by a football game that took place on Saturday at 12 noon, Michigan State versus University of Michigan. Not rubbing anything in. And for those who may think otherwise, I'm not an overly fanatic Michigan State fan. I'm just part of the culture with the work that I do in the close proximity with literally living far enough from the stadium and the Breslin Center where I can just hear the events. But with that being said, I'm here to talk about stormy weather. When I think of stormy weather sometimes, who is this? Let me guess. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? Good to see you this morning. I'm talking about stormy weather. And when I think about stormy weather, whenever I hear that term, the first thing I think about is the movie itself. Now, that predated me, Michelle. Stormy Weather, that's a 1957 remake of the movie that had the beautiful Miss Lena Horne in it as well. But, from my contemporary standpoint, when I think of stormy weather, I think about Lena Horne's appearance on Sanford and Son. I think about my late brother, Sean Huddleston. We would laugh at anything related to Sanford and Son. And this was the one when she was there to visit Lame Lamont. Anybody remember that? Fred Sanford working this game to see the horn, to see Lame Lamont. But I had to just get that out there. Shout out to my late brother, Sean Huddleston. May he continue to rest in peace. But the stormy weather I'm talking about, Michelle, is such as this. That stormy weather that seems to come up in everybody's life in some way or form. It is very difficult to deal with. Comes the rain, comes the thunder. It can just be dark and gloomy and create a lot of fear in our lives because of all the uncertainty. Things is happening, wrestling all about. Former President Bill Clinton once said, and I'll never forget, he said, when things are happening, it's always almost in threes. As president, there would be international issues he would have to deal with, be a domestic issue, something happening here in the United States. And on a personal note, his daughter would be sick. So there's always these things happening. Former General President of my beloved fraternity, Alpha Alpha, once told me at a meeting that I attended with him that you're either in a storm, coming out of a storm, or preparing to go back into one. I mentioned my late brother, Sean Huddleston. He was also a member of the United States Navy. I like to tell them thank you for the ride because, on these high seas, the waters can be really hard and difficult. And there's a term that people use talking about getting your sea legs. That's right, getting your sea legs when you join the Navy, and it takes some time. A doctor once said, it can take, up to 36 hours for most people to get their sea legs about them after leaving shore, although for some it may take longer. See, what I'm trying to get at, folks, is that storms are prevalent in our lives. We don't wish for them, we don't want them, but they're prevalent. They're going to happen. I mean, just look at this weekend, the rain, the rain, the rain. And unfortunately, several weeks ago, all that rain that devastated Detroit from a flooding standpoint. But what I want to talk about is being able to get your sea legs while you're out here. And what are sea legs defined as? They're defined as to adjust to a new situation. A sailor is said to get his sea legs when he is able to walk steadily despite the rolling pitch of the vessel. Again, sea legs. To adjust to a new situation, a sailor is said to get his or her legs, sea legs, when he is able to walk steadily despite the rolling pitch of a vessel. I think we can easily compare the rolling pitch of a vessel to life and how it is and these things that happen. You want an example of what sea legs look like? Can you imagine being able to balance yourself on a ship that's moving side to side with the rough seas doing that? Or being able to walk and manage and still be able to take care of your business of the day with all this going about. Even when they created a robot that is supposed to be a perfect, scientific, creation, it is not created to have sea legs. It still has to adjust. So even things that are created with perfection still have a need to adjust. But also with that, the stormy weather that we deal with, the stormy weather that we're forced to adjust with, there's something else that comes from that, folks. There's something else that comes from the storm. Even though thunderstorms are dangerous, they can be a great help. They give summer water, they cool the earth and clean the air. Lightning even balances the air's electricity and helps fertilize the soil. Now, at the time that you're going through a storm, or at the time that we're going through that stormy weather, hearing that thunder and that lightning, we don't necessarily think about, how this is going to give us some summer water here on November 1st. We don't think about how this is going to cool the earth, which is very important when we deal with issues, like what's happening with the earth and global warming and those type of things. We don't think about the benefit of it cleaning the air, but think about it after a storm. When you go outside, the air smells so fresh. You can take it in. And the fact that lightning plays a role in balancing the earth's electricity or even fertilizing the soil was something I know farmers will want to hear. Michelle says storms in life can be cleansing, but we don't always see it that way. No, we never do, because we're human creatures, Michelle. We're humans, and we look at things, that are right in front of us. But I'm here to tell you that we have to have a broader view about the storms that we have in life. And maybe when we're going through the actual storms, Michelle, we can think about, okay, this is rough. This is difficult, but this is going to help me. This is rough. This is difficult. This is going to make a better situation come from what I'm dealing with now. And maybe that can give you the resolve. Maybe that can help you establish those sea legs that we've been talking about. Maybe that can help you. And look at this gentleman right here, this Navy shipman, and how he's handling his sea legs. Imagine if that's you dealing with life issues. If soon as something in life comes at you that's crazy out of the way, you got your sea legs. As soon as things come like adversity, you got your sea legs. Even if you're a robot, you got to get yourself prepared for the world and what comes, and you have your sea legs. And if you have a difficult time thinking about that, think about the horn. Laugh at Fred Sanford. I always think of my brother Sean. That anytime I see Fred Sanford, I just think about how he would just make us laugh during all the negative things that are going on. Michigan State University, I have to say, they had sea legs. They went through some stormy weather, being down 16 points, but still having that resolve. Shout out to Mel Tucker and the Michigan State Spartans. And again, to the Michigan Wolverines and all our Detroit Lion fans, I don't know how I really say this, but stormy weather is a part of life. And even though we're talking about football games and there's so many other serious events happening in our life, we could get caught up in our fandom, but just really realize that storms do come, folks. And I think you're going to be better equipped to deal with the storm if you know that this is just a part of life's process. And while that storm is there and you feel you may be at your lowest point, your weakest point, I'm telling you, remember how that's going to cool the earth, how it's going to, bring some fresh air, how it's going to fertilize the soil. And if that analogy I'm saying needs to be me talking to you directly, how that storm is going to help fertilize you to be better. It's going to help cool you to have more longevity. It's going to bring that fresh air and give a refreshing spirit to you in your life. Storms are a part of life. And if you're going through a storm, guess what that means? You're alive. You're here. You got your sensibilities about yourself to recognize what's happening. And I just want you to be encouraged while those things are happening. Stormy weather is a part of life, but on the other side of the storm is the rainbow, the beauty, the beautiful flowers growing, the air being pollinated to help things be better for all of us. I can't emphasize that enough. So with that, folks, I want to thank you guys on this Monday Motivation. I want to wish you a great, great week, great month, a great year. Can you believe it's November 1st? Can you believe we're getting ready to wrap up 2021? Just a while ago, I sat in front of you guys during one of the most challenging times of all our lives, the global pandemic. And here we are pushing through, getting through that stormy weather. So with that, before I hit 10 minutes, I want to just thank you guys for supporting SBS. I want to continue to be working hard for you. Keep me in your prayers as I continue to deal with stormy weather, just like everybody else. And I'm sending the same prayers to you. With that, this is Lindsey Hudson with SBS. See you guys next time. Thanks.